Welcome to Fuel. Fuel stands for Finance, Unity, Empowerment, Legacy. Join us today as Dr. Jackie, Mac, and Dennis continue their discussion on the importance of health to your wealth and to your future, Part 2.
So the whole point is free. Stay out of that iPhone line. Stay out of them stupid sneakers line. I know a friend of mine, he makes a lot of money on sneakers, so he's going to be mad at me too. But it's only my opinion. You know, I didn't say I'm right all the time. I'm just saying I have an opinion. So please don't be mad at me. Get this free education because you still got to look at what your return on your investment is. There's a store called, I don't know if I can say the name of the store. Rent-A-Center. I don't even know if they're still in existence. And I went in there one day to try to talk to the owner to see if I can get him to come to a free financial class. And he pretty much talked down to me because he said, do you know, all I got to do is sit here and some woman's going to come in and rent a bag so she can look good to her friends. Some guy's going to come in here and rent wheels for his car. And what I didn't know is that my tenants were renting TVs from this man. He said, I make money hand over fist. So when I'm trying to help people, I feel like right now I feel caught up in it. And so forgive me if I say some things that, you know, are disagreeable with you guys. There's a difference between surviving, living, and living well. And I know surviving you got to do sometimes. I've had to do that. I was raised in the projects. You had to fight your way home from school. Do I know how to fight now? No, but I knew how to fight back then. I had one handicap, glasses. You know, and it was a tough life, but I loved to read. And I read myself right into a scholarship to a private school. The private school was outside of Philadelphia. But when I came home, I had to fight to get back home to my house until I became friends with all the gangsters. And once I became friends with all the gangsters, I was free to go to school. Matter of fact, they made sure I got on that train to go to school. So now when I talk to people and I look back on my own experience and I said, you know what? Those cats are still in my neighborhood that I grew up in, doing the same things they did when I was 17, 15, 14, 13. From 1973. They doing the same things they did. Now, no, I'm sorry. Now their children are standing on that same corner I grew up on because they don't believe and they don't know that they have access to free that can change your life. You can stop surviving and live a life. And then maybe live a better life for you and your family. I know, I feel like I'm preaching today. I'm so sorry. I tried to talk to a friend yesterday about compounding, and it was the hardest 3 minutes of my life, and I was just depressed. Because if you don't understand money and you're an accountant, you're in trouble. I don't care how much money you save. So before I say anything else to bury my foot in the sand or my head in the sand, that I said enough right now. Somebody else is gonna be mad at me, but right now I don't care. I'm trying to help people.
Yeah, you know
No
what?
money. I don't make no money off of this stuff.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, Dennis, I actually I feel your pain because even as we're speaking now, I have people around me that have decided to make Uncle Sam their daddy. And you know, I, I sit and I try to get them to vision this thing out. Like, is this the way that you really want to live, where everything is dictated by this one check that you receive at the first of the month? Is that the way that you want to live? Having to scrimp and to beg, borrow, and steal for an existence. And it's it breaks my heart that, to your point, most of this happens in the Black and Latin quarters of our society. And, you know, those are the ones that you don't see at the seminars. Those are the ones you don't see, reading the plethora of information that's out there on wealth creation. And it's you can't even deny that these things are out here, and unlike in days gone by, accessible to anyone who's willing to just go to your local library. You don't even have to buy this stuff. you can sit in the library and read about wealth, about insurance, about protection, about real estate, about planning for college, retirement, all of these things, medical insurance, health insurance, life insurance, all of these things are available. And, even what we do here, it's available. And yet, the very sector of our community that needs it the most are the ones that, like, to your point, rather do a TikTok video or, mess around on social media all day, as opposed to actually learning something.
I dated a girl one time and she was having financial trouble. Well, I dated a lot of girls who were in financial trouble, unfortunately. And I said, you do know I teach financial literacy, right? I teach it, but I'm sitting here with you. I could teach you how to become financially free. Nah, I'd rather you give me money. What? But what happens when I'm gone? Find someone else. Oh, okay. Well, starting on Friday, you're gonna have to find somebody else. Because I teach financial literacy. What does it look like to have somebody that you're supposed to be have feelings for just want you for your money? So I'm gone. And it hurt me even more. My daughter told me her credit card bill was back up. I'm like, baby, what if somebody hears you tell that and they know I teach financial literacy? She said, Dad, I don't know what happened. I said, okay, let's sit down and figure it out.
So just because there's somebody saying the words, and because we have said it to an individual, doesn't mean there's understanding. And so there are many times that we get caught up, and I've taught that concept. I presented that to, yet there is still a disconnect. And Dennis says, I'm just so patient and all that. I am a teacher. So, just like he's into finance, and I understand that there are times people don't get it. One of the things that needs to be, let me say, an initial approach is definitions, right? Because the words that come out can be understood in different ways because words have different meanings and different uses. And when we say it from a place of knowledge, we think that those people we're talking to understand it in that same way. So when we're talking about saving, the word may mean we're going to put something away, but the concept of how to do it may not be understood. Yet we go on to the next thing thinking they have understood it. So where Dennis is now, and I'm just projecting from a teacher's point of view, with your daughter who says, I don't know how, is yet another teachable moment to go back. So I don't know where we are with time, but I want to give two examples. So one was working with a woman who gave me information to develop, to start looking at a plan, looking at and becoming involved in where she was with her money. And the information includes how much she has coming in and how much she has coming out. And then you look at what's extra, because then you can do other things with that extra. So she gave me the information. It said she had $4,000 extra. And I said, does that feel right? She said, oh, no, I don't have that. And so we continued to talk. Now, let me just start with the $4,000 extra. What does that tell us? That she says, no, that's not right. She's not given all the information. So not only is she's not giving it to me, she's not aware of all of it because of the way she chops up, the way we all chop up, I'm gonna pay this bill or not that bill, that we don't keep running tabs on it. By the time we tabbed it down, on paper, she had $155 extra. Do you see the gap between that? She's conducting herself like she's got money when she doesn't. She says, I can go on afford to do this when she really can't. But without really looking at it and understanding what is meant by how money works and how you're using it, you can get yourself in more difficulty, which might be part of what's going on with your daughter, and to need to look at the balance and check. What I have found with young people is, no, let me say, with those who are in a later generation like we are, we had checkbooks and we would write down and keep track, right?
Yep.
When I talked to my niece who was in the same age category as Dennis's daughter, check what? Write it down, what? No, I have this whole amount and then it's gone. Okay, what? So, same vocabulary, get in at the same place so we can start at the same place when we're working forward. And here's the next one. I said two things. So those of you who have chimed in before know that I'm the pay yourself first person. Pay yourself first. But in my head, that means that you are putting aside some money for your protection, for your emergency fund. It's a saving. It's saving for your, not just. Well, I was talking to somebody 2 days ago. Pay yourself first was, I'm gonna get that pocketbook.
Oh,
I'm gonna buy that car. I'm gonna get that dress. I'm gonna buy those shoes. Paying myself first with rewards, with benefits, with these pleasures that I want. I work hard. I can go buy that. Okay, two different things going on here. Yet they can turn to me and say, well, you said pay myself first. So I'm going to pay that bill, but I'm going to pay myself first by what? Making a bill. Okay, different concepts. So I think that you talked about the individual with the compounding. Everybody doesn't understand it just by saying it because we weren't taught it. It was not part of what was given to us in our education. We talk to people who are in money, finance, and accounting. They don't have some of the concepts that we are talking about here, that we talk about in our free education, financial education classes, the real concept of how money works. So therefore, as they are accountants, as they are doing finance, they understand one thing, and they are not teaching to get a balance of the other thing. So because we keep bumping our heads into the same thing. We talk about health and money wealth. We talk about money and how it works, and we bump our heads again. And the disconnect is in really understanding what those words means and what it means. And I'm going to say one more thing. So as I was talking to my brother, and I think I've given this example before about saving, in his head, and maybe in your head, you think, I'm like the lady who has $155, only mine is $55, or maybe mine is $25. I don't have any money to save. In order to save, I need a lot of money. I need to save $100 every week or every 2 weeks or whatever you're proposing, or 200 or 500. I don't have it. So therefore what? I don't save anything. And what I had to say to my brother, who was in that struggle because he's a contractor and the contracts during COVID, they weren't flowing, he wasn't working. And I said, what we want is to set up a mindset of understanding of what you do, what saving is. And I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's $2. If what you have, like in the woman who gave the least coins, and Jesus said, look, this is what she has. If it's what you have and you take $1 and get in the routine of putting that aside for yourself, for the, as the old people used to say, the rainy day, watch it grow. Watch it grow, because you have started a mindset of doing it, regardless of all the other things I'm going to do. I'm going to take that $1. Because what else will happen is you will soon make it 2, or then it'll become 5, because you will understand the importance and you want to watch it grow and you get into the habit of doing it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Jack, I used to force myself to put $1 in a Coca-Cola bottle, a 3-liter bottle, every day. Put $1 in there every day, no matter what I did that day, put $1. Of course, at the end of the year, I had $365. I'm like, oh my gosh, 365 looks a lot better than $1.
mhm.
But it started with one piece of paper at a time.
One piece of paper at a time. It's one step at a time.
Yeah.
So for my nephew, who is also doing contracting, I said to him, you have some extra money and you need to save it. Well, if I see it in my account, I'm going to use it. I'm going to spend it. Now, some of you out there listening to us may be that person. If you see it in your account, you're going to spend it. It's going to burn a hole, regardless of how old you are. Because I have a young one and an old one telling me the same thing. It's going to burn a hole. So what did I do? I set up an account. Well, he's my nephew, okay? But I set up an account. He sent the money to me, all right? I never told him how much was in it. When he was in between jobs, contracts, he couldn't send, he didn't send. Don't you know, 6 months later, he needed some money. Aunt Jack, can you loan me? How much do you need? I need 200. I went to his account, his emergency fund that he had been building. And I said, guess what? You have $200 in your emergency. He was shocked that it had grown because he wasn't keeping track. I didn't tell him how much was left. I knew I was going to keep a certain amount. He had 200 above that. The beauty of being there was so powerful for him that once he got his next paycheck, he started right back at it because he was into the mentality. Start with being open to learning and take it one step. And when one of us says a word you don't understand, challenge us. What do you mean compounding? What do you mean pay yourself first? You mean go out and buy that? Tell us so we can know and help you understand.
Beautiful. As you were sharing, Dr. Jackie, it just reminded me, it is sometimes in the linguistics, paying yourself first. Well, that can have a whole different meaning to the people that we're talking about. I thank you for sharing it in that way, because I can kind of understand that, how a person can go and then, spend money thinking that that's the way that they pay themselves first. Um, I like to bring it into understanding of like appreciating agriculture, knowing that if you plant a seed in the ground, it will eventually sprout up something, whatever you've planted. And probably getting in the mode of teaching about delayed gratification
Gratification.
might be a step in the right direction, saying that, with everything, it takes time in order for these things to happen. But like your nephew, who in his time of need readily had $200, not just $200, you were just the distributor, but he has saved it,
That's right. Right.
and
And that was powerful, Mac. For him
yeah,
to realize that he had done that.
yeah, yeah. And I think that, to your point, once he was able to get back on his feet again, that was an encouraging measure that, hey, if I did it before, I can do it again. And that's a beautiful way of relating all of this to our wealth building. So I thank you for that. Actually, I'm going to use some of that when I talk to some of the people around me.
Well, thanks. I mean, that is what we are here for. Those of you who are watching or tune in periodically, what we say is not just for you, it's for each other. We bounce off of our own experiences. Dennis had a whole lot on his heart that he wanted to put out there to you, but all of it benefits every one of us because we are here to help you and ourselves. So,
All right. Dennis, you want the last word?
Well, saving time of plenty for time of famine, because famine surely will come.
yes, sir.
COVID didn't teach you one thing. I hope it taught you that. Thank you.
Enough said. Hey guys, it's been great. Have a great rest of the day to our audience. We thank you for keeping up with us. And after we finish talking here, you'll see information on how you can stay in touch with us all the time. Have a great day, Dennis. Have a great day, Dr. Jackie.
Same to you, Mac and Dennis.
Dr. Jackie.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
To your success.
Thank you for joining this edition of Fuel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations. Also, you can email us for any questions or any comments that you want to make at fuelingfuturegenerations2020@gmail.com. On behalf of Dr. Jackie, Mac, and Dennis, we say thank you and have a great day.